Bruce Allen, the president in Washington, and Dave Gettleman, the GM of the Giants, a little bit of a back and forth may be starting. And I like the fact that the Giants and Washington each have rookie quarterbacks. We're going to be paying close attention to how they develop. And there's this storyline that Dave Gettleman put out there about his fear, because he knew for a fact that two teams between 6 and 17, the two spots where the Giants had first-round picks, two teams were going to take Daniel Jones if the Giants didn't take him at number 6. I don't believe it. I've never believed it. I think that he's masking the reality, which is he was afraid someone was going to leapfrog them at number 16 and take Daniel Jones because they let everyone know they wanted Daniel Jones. It's their own fault they had to take him at number 6, but if you say that, then you do get run out of town. But Bruce Allen, appearing on NFL Network, responded by basically saying he doesn't know what our draft board is. How does he even begin to know what our draft board is? I don't know which draft board he knows, but he doesn't know ours. And look, it's not a full-blown, like, WWE-style feud yet, but I kind of like where this is going. I like a little war of words. I like a little over the top. I want to stir it up. Come on, let's see what Dave Gettleman has to say in response to Bruce Allen. I mean, he's been talking to the media 50 times this week. Let's have 51. Come out and say what you have to say about Bruce Allen, and maybe we can make this nice and spicy and interesting as the season approaches.
I always like a good rivalry too. I don't think there's enough personal rivalries in the NFL anymore as compared to the old days of the 80s and early 90s when, of course, players and organizations, there wasn't free agency in the salary cap, so people stayed with the organization for a long period of time, and the rivalries were great during that time period, at least in my opinion, because it was personal. It really was. You got to see the same guy who beat you, the last 3 years. It's year 4, and gosh, we got to play this guy again. I'm sick of losing to him. So I'm always for that. It adds a little juice, a little spiciness, like you said. But the big thing is, and I said this a little bit when we did the TV show, it's really where Gettleman got himself in trouble was his phrasing here. Don't say you know for a fact, okay? Come on, we know you don't know for a fact. That's where he really messed up and opened up a can of worms here. Opens up a can of worms for, one, people like you and me and other media members to go, oh, wait, you know for a fact? All right, let me call every team between 7 and 16 in the NFL draft between the Giants having their 2 picks, and let's see if they actually were going to take a Daniel Jones. So everyone does that. When you say for a fact, you leave yourself open for Bruce Allen to take a shot across the bow like he did there. So that's really the big thing where Gettleman got himself in trouble. Don't say that. He would have been perfectly fine if he just said, hey, we were really scared. There was a few teams that liked quarterbacks, and we just didn't know who they wanted, and we knew Jones was our guy, and we were scared that he was at the top of the board for one of those other teams. If he just said that, it would have been all done. Everybody would have accepted it, and we still wouldn't be talking about it here 3 days later.
I think he used for a fact to slam the door on the discussion, because if you peel the onion enough, you eventually get to the point where people realize it's your own damn fault you couldn't take him at 17. If you shut your mouth, maybe you keep him. Now, let me flip this around, though, because even though from time to time we say the Giants have a little bit of an attitude, maybe there's a little arrogance there, they're not sufficiently arrogant to think they were the only team that loved Daniel Jones. Right? And maybe another team out there is keeping their mouth shut. Nobody knew the Jaguars wanted Blake Bortles when they drafted him. So that's where you needed to be concerned, that you're going to get jumped or that there really is somebody, because they're not going to tell you after the fact that they wanted the guy. They're going to say they got the guy they wanted, because there's nothing good that comes from saying there was someone else they wanted more than the guy they got. But because the Giants felt compelled, Chris, and you were all over this, they felt compelled to make everyone think that this was coming so they wouldn't get killed even worse than they did. Get everyone comfortable with the idea that Daniel Jones is going to be the pick. Then you have to take him at 6. You can't wait until 17 or you are going to lose him. That's the truth. There's no way Dave Gettleman can say that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yes. I mean, I guess they made a decision at some point in the last few weeks that was their guy, and that's what they wanted, and it seemed like they were intent on trying to sell that on the fan base. And again, I'm not going to get mad at them for taking the guy they wanted at number 6. Whether I think he's worth it or not, I don't know. It doesn't matter what I think. But, hey, obviously he was scared of the Washington Redskins a little bit, and we've heard rumors that Daniel Jones was very high on their board. I mean, in fact, we're hearing rumors rumors that really the coaching staff, it sounded like, wanted Daniel Jones, and there was just a few other people in higher up positions that wanted Dwayne Haskins. That's a rumor that is out there in NFLville. I'm sure Dave Gettleman heard the same thing too. I'm sure he was also a little concerned about Denver at 10, just going, I don't know exactly who John Elway has at the top. You know, maybe he got caught wind that Daniel Jones was towards the top of their board as well. So I get his thought processes on this whole thing. He's just kind of talked himself into a few corners here to get himself in trouble.
And it's easy to justify taking the guy at 6. If he's your guy, just take him at 6. Don't spend that hour and a half of your life worrying that he's not going to be there, and then he's gone, and then you're screwed. If he's your guy, go get him. Maybe that's the better explanation. Forget about waiting. He's our guy.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't want to wait 11 spots and lose our guy. I don't know who's going to take him. He's our guy. And he's our guy at 6. He's our guy at 17. He's our guy at 1 if we'd have had the first overall pick. That's what you have to say. So, I don't know. Gettleman's got himself twisted up like a pretzel with all the media appearances he's done. I have a feeling he won't be doing this show, but that's okay. We'll get by. Another guy who won't be doing this show is Bruce Allen. I think we gave up trying to get him on the program, but yeah, I don't know what his deal is. I don't know.
You've been mean to Bruce? You've been mean to him?
No, I haven't been. No, let me peel back the curtain here. Since we're not on the air, I can tell this little story. I don't think they like the fact that I won't say their name. And I know you will, and you can say it if you want. They don't like the fact that I won't say their name. And I won't say their name out of respect to the percentage, and there is a real percentage, a concrete percentage of Native Americans who are genuinely offended by the use of that term.
Right.
And to me, that's enough to not say it. And it's not like I'm going to picket outside of FedEx Field. I'm not writing a column every day saying they should get rid of their name. I just choose not to use it.
Right.
And it drives people crazy. How dare you not use it? It's the name of the team. Well, so what? If there's somebody whose name I don't like, or if I can't pronounce their name, I'm not going to use it. I mean, I still acknowledge that the person exists. I just choose not to use the name. And I have a reason for it. I'm not being mean. I'm not being vindictive. I'm being fair to the people who are actually offended. There are people, even if the Washington Post poll that they did a few years ago that ended the debate, at least for now, that only 10% of Native Americans were offended by the term. That's enough for me.
It is.
1 out of 10 is enough. So it should be 0 out of 10. It's just like, hey, if you're comfortable having a team that has a name that offends people, that's fine. It doesn't offend enough to change it. That's fine. It still offends some, so I don't use it. So anyway, long story bearable.
No, that's all right.
Why Bruce Allen won't do the show. That's why we won't get Jay Gruden. That's why we won't get Daniel Snyder. That's why, and that's fine. I'll gladly make that sacrifice in order to properly respect the 10% or however many of the Native Americans that find that term offensive.
I shouldn't say it either. I did get disappointed in myself sometimes.
If you want to. Look, I'm not telling you not to.
No, but I don't believe in it either. You're right. I mean, I wouldn't certainly go up to a Native American and call them that name and go, hey, hey, you're Redskin, like that. No, that's offensive. I'm not going to do that. That makes no sense. At the baseline, that's where the issue is. You're not going to do that, so then you shouldn't say the name. I need to be better at that. And really, the Washington franchise needs to figure out another name. They need to figure out and talk to the Native Americans, something that they feel is more respectful to what they are, what they did, how they contributed to this country, and move on with it, because I am with you. The name is, it's mean. It doesn't make sense.
I think I've stirred up Captain Planet.
Yes, you have.
This could get interesting.
Yes,
I'll have to tune in to the next Chris Sims Unbuttoned. I have a feeling a rant is coming.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.